Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and with me today are...
Jake.
Chris?
No, Jake.
God, everything's gone wrong.
I thought it was Ames.
No,
It was Ames.
wow.
No, Ames,
neat.
Caitlin, Jake, Chris.
You
Oh,
know,
shit.
this is all optional, right?
Yeah, it's true. We could just start screaming
Just
all
jump
in unison.
in.
All of our
Ames.
names have been said, so let's just...
We did
Chris.
it. Cool.
Why are we allowing episode 319 to be where this devolves into absolute chaos?
It's always been absolute chaos.
Enterprise is already breaking us.
This is episode 319.
Yeah!
Woo!
And today we're looking at two more episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, or I guess just Enterprise at this point. And we'll be covering two episodes, Unexpected and Terra Nova. In Unexpected, well, let's see. Enterprise starts having some weird malfunctions on board with replicators spitting out poop and...
How's the anti-grav working?
Oh, the anti-grav is not great, and I'm pretty sure that Captain Archer broke his entire ass when he fell from the ceiling of his shower when the anti-grav went back on, rather. It turns out that the reason for this is that there's a little Cerulean ship?
Yes.
Hiding out on their, rear nacelle or something. I don't know, someplace back there. And kind of siphoning off their energy because their warp core is messed up and they need to recharge and make repairs. But we're Starfleet, of course, so we're like, we'll help. They're like, hey, Trip, guess what? This time, buddy, you get to go on the away mission. But it's gonna really suck. And Trip's like, oh boy, hooray for me. In order to go to the other ship, though, he has to, decon, and then he has to, sit in solitary for 3 hours while he for decompression and recompression. The Ceruleans, fill his, what do you call that? His
Face.
airlock thing that he's sitting in with, gas that burns the shit out of his lungs. And he gets aboard the station and and then he plays some kind of visual Simon game where he has to be like, red 3, blue, yellow, orange 12, whatever. This series of tests is to make sure that he's acclimated, so he gets on the ship, but guess what? He's still not acclimated, shit's moving all weird, he can't concentrate, he's dizzy, he thinks he has a fever, it's a whole mess. And the people, the Ceruleans are kind of like, okay, new kids on the block, we have tons of experience meeting other people, if you just go and rest, you'll be fine. And Archer's like, well, Trip, they say if you just have some rest, you'll be fine. And Trip's like, I don't want to stay. And Archer's like, okay, baby, put on your big boy pants and go have a nappy. And he does, and he wakes up, and lo and fucking behold, he's fine. Not only is he fine, but so is Alan, a Cerulean engineer who is a hot, scaly, sexy lady. And she and Trip are working together to get their engines back online. Both of them are, thirsty as fuck. Nobody, and I mean... nobody since the Malkorian nurse back in TNG has been so thirsty for human dick.
Damn, you just pulled that vocabulary out of nowhere.
Nope, I looked it up before the show.
Okay, fair. Fair, but it's a great reference.
Right. What am I, you? I don't know this shit. What a show is this? What? I don't remember. Anyway, so they go and end. Not only is Alan hot and totally DTF, that's down to fuck, she's like, hey, check out this awesome new technology we have. Well, she doesn't say new. It's new to Trip, though. And it's a freaking holodeck.
Sweet.
He can smell the air. He can touch the sand. He can finger bang the lady, but she's a real lady. Trip finishes up with the fixing
lady?
of the engines. Yeah, that too. His 3-day mission hath ended, and he goes back to Enterprise. They part ways, and Trip notices that he's grown a little something on his hand. At this point, Caitlin says, is he fucking pregnant? Because I had not noticed that the title of this episode was Unexpected. So it was just as unexpected to Trip as it was to me. The only thing I expected him to be pregnant. What I didn't expect was him to be growing fucking nipples on his hands.
Ugh,
so
gross.
thanks for
that. Are they allowed
that.
to even show that?
Well, they're man nipples, so yes, technically.
But they're breeder nipples, so...
But they're, well, all all nipples are breeder nipples.
Could you milk me, Greg, or whatever?
Which
that
is to
line
say that you need both. I don't know. They're breeder, not feeder nips. You know, I don't know. Anyway, Trip is pregnant and he's getting moody and bitchy and he's eating a lot and he's crying about nothing, and they're trying really hard to track down the Zerillian ship again because they're like, WTF do we do with this baby?
You guys have it.
We don't want it. They're having trouble finding him, and Trip is being more and more of a man baby when finally we find what we think is the Zerillian ship. However, they're apparently having problems again because they're now feeding off of a Klingon warbird. Oh no!
Oh jeez.
Thankfully, they're able to win over the Klingon captain, whose name I see here is Vorok.
Apparently.
They win him over by being like, so there's somebody on your wing, don't kill him though. My man Trip here, he got knocked up by one of their ladies. And the Klingons think that's so funny they forget to kill the Ceruleans. Trip and Alen get back together, and she's like, OMG, I knocked you up, my bad. And they are thankfully able to move the baby from Trip's body to wherever to do its thing.
Straight into
space. And the Enterprise crew are able to go their own way. It is, however, sort of important to note, because I have no idea if we're going to run into Vorok again, but the only reason that Vorok helped us to, reconnect with the Zerillians is because of the favor that the humans did, that Archer in particular did, to return what's-his-name to them after he'd been injured by that farm.
They also kind of promised on the Zerillians' behalf, they'll give you some technology. We didn't ask if they will or not, but, they'll do it, right?
Yeah, they didn't give us no holodeck shit.
Oh, man. That holodeck thing
Trip is going to be bumming. Trip was tripping. Vorok's like, okay, cool, but our debt's paid now, and next time we see you, we're gonna fuck you up! Bye!
As they should.
Bye. Okay, and I think that's pretty much the end of the episode.
I did lose my fucking shit at, I can see my house from here!
Yeah, that was...
God.
That was...
What the hell line is that?
I mean, it's exactly what...
It's a Willy Wonka line.
Well, it's also just a running gag kind of line. Be like,
yeah. Anytime somebody
You're
is
really
looking at
that?
anything.
Vorok said that?
Yes.
I totally missed that.
Or the Klingon
somehow.
with him, one or the other.
I mean, so did the Klingons have to download their equivalent of Google Maps into the Zerillian computer or something?
He gave the Zerillian a chip saying this is our planet's topographical information.
But that it has everybody's house? My God.
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's Klingon Google, whatever Klingon for Google is.
And this is how the Zerillians take over Kronos.
Oh, before we get too into it, I wanted to ask.
Oh, no.
Was Alen...
Yes, we have seen her before.
Was she Neelix's new wife?
Ding, ding, ding. Jake got it. Dexa from Homestead. No wonder she's such a hottie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a fine-looking lizard lady. Tell you what. She's given Ducat a run for his money for me.
We like our lizard people.
We certainly do.
Her eyes were really cool, too.
Yeah, they were.
Cool contacts. That's a cool-looking species.
She was so bummed, though. She was like, oh, man, this is going to be perfect. Consequenceless sex because they're an alien. There's no way we're compatible. Fuck! Damn it!
Well, you see, that's something that kind of... I feel like I got blue balls watching this episode because, there's ample opportunities for drama in this, and I feel like they took the most milquetoast way out.
Yeah, it felt like everything was drawn out, and it felt like every chapter was just we'll just keep writing without really having much conflict most of the time.
I feel like that's been the pattern the entire time so far.
No, don't worry. Here comes some conflicts. It's the Klingons. Oh, no, wait, never mind. They're cool.
Yeah, we're just going to talk it out.
Yeah, because remember...
That's what Klingons are really well known for.
Archer's like your best friend now because he saved one of you once. Sure.
He did prevent a civil war.
That was going to start a civil war. I missed this.
Well, that's what T'Pol claimed.
Oh, that's right, because T'Pol lies, because Vulcans lie all the time.
No, Ames, it's that they never lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the whole thing was the Zindi were trying to start a Klingon civil war. And Clang had
The
the proof that it was...
Zindi?
Yeah,
We
haven't
met
got
the
there.
Zindi?
not the Zindi.
Oh, the
Flow
Sulaban.
people. The Sulaban.
The Sulaban, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Right, because the whole fucking pilot's way too goddamn complicated for me. So yeah, I probably missed that in one of the million plot threads going on.
See, I really thought, and I wonder if it was like a rewrite or somebody pussed out on it. I don't know, but I really thought that where they were going to go towards like a favorite son sort of thing, where this species reproduces by implanting eggs into a host.
Yeah, that's what I
Favorite
thought.
son
like-
being that Harry Kim episode?
Yeah, where they reproduce by turning other people into them and then sucking their blood or whatever they were going to do.
They're gonna
But
suck
yeah,
their blood,
because
all
like
right.
that makes way more sense the way the episode is structured. You lure somebody onto your ship, you drug them so they're all woozy for a while, you nurse them back to health,
With Jello shots.
you have a rapport, and then you take them into the fuck palace, dip your hands in the fuck bowl, and then send them on their way.
Yeah, well, and
that-
especially when they land on the Klingon ship again. It's like
right,
that felt
exactly.
like
And then
exactly
when we
what
finally
was
catch
going
up to
on.
them and
Yeah.
they're just on the Klingon ship, it's like, oh, obviously this is just what they do. They go around dumping eggs in people, and then, when inevitably the person gives birth or whatever, the little monster is a xenomorph and takes over the ship or something. I don't know.
Being fair, we don't know that wasn't the plan with the Klingons. Enterprise just fucked it up and they had to play along.
True.
So if you wanted it in
Could
your
be.
heart of hearts, you could still believe that's actually what they do.
But
I mean,
like,
I just don't see how else it could be. Like, it just, especially considering this is Star Trek and like we've seen that before, it just feels
Yeah.
right. But maybe that's why
I
they didn't
feel like
go
if they
that route.
had done that, I would have been like, oh, this feels like a recycled plot. But at least it's a plot with intrigue and drama versus this one, which is just kind of like some shit happened and we fixed it. It's fine. And like most of the pregnancy stuff was just like guffaw.
Ugly stereotypes and like giggle fests.
Yeah, I mean, when Futurama does it and Kif gets knocked up a notch, it's a comedy show, so you expect it.
Yes.
I don't know. I was also royally pissed at Archer for breaking the promise to, not tell literally everyone Trip's pregnant by just giving him a look like, Trip, I'm going to tell him. I've already told them. I told everyone now. In front of you, in front of the bridge. Reed is cracking jokes now. The Klingons are cracking jokes at your expense. And that kind of thing should have been Tucker's decision to tell, is what I'm going to say. Fuck you, Archer. Fuck your stupid face.
I
Well,
also
I thought that it
understand,
was Trip that ultimately said it, though.
Nope, it was Archer.
Is that right?
He said there's a pregnancy involved.
yeah, he didn't say specifically what it was. He just say there's a pregnancy involved.
Oh, and
And
then
then
Trip stepped
Trip.
forward.
Step forward.
Yeah, because they
But-
assumed it was him knocking up the Zerillion before, until it was like, goddamn
Yeah.
fuck. We're gonna kill
Yeah.
the Zerillions anyway!
Yeah.
But wait, okay.
And, like,
Fuckers.
Here's the thing. I get that the people on Enterprise might snicker a little under their breath at it, but the Klingons, they don't know how humans reproduce. Maybe it's perfectly normal for the males to get pregnant. They don't know. Not
That's-
everyone keeps their genitals in the same place.
I'll
I
keep
guess
mine
that's
in a
maybe a good
storage
point.
locker.
I don't know.
But yeah, the opening gag of this episode
Oh
with-
god, with the shower.
with the shower
Ugh.
And the
looked
very,
stupid.
very deliberately placed kind of like wall area in the shower door.
Yep.
The opaque shower door area.
And then, there was a lot of cheesecake going on. I feel like there were a lot of, intentional shots of, ooh, here's Archer from, the waist up. Ooh, I don't
Oh,
know.
you can just see, we were just an inch more and you'd see butt.
You can see his 2 nipples. Ooh.
Well, Trip's got like
how
12.
they got. I was gonna say that's how they got away with showing both of Trips. They were like, "Well, it's only fair."
Nipples all around.
They showed off Trip's bulge again, so...
They did.
Yeah, that's just a thing.
Too much.
say.
It's so much. God damn it.
Do we know? Does anybody know? Is he stuffing or is that all Trip? Or for the second question, does he just have huge balls? Because, I mean, that could just be really big balls. Just saying.
I don't know. I mean, we'd have to buy a cameo from Connor Trenier and find out.
Well, well, I mean, I'm not against it.
I
know Ames isn't.
I on the one hand, I do appreciate that, like, at first you think it's a cold open, like, oh yeah, the Enterprise is kind of a piece of junk. But then it actually ties into the larger plot, so that was nice.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I would assume your Starfleet training is, hey, if the gravity goes out, grab onto whatever you can to get yourself close to the ground so that when it turns back on, you don't break your whole tailbone, like Archer surely did.
Yeah,
his,
it seems
his
like
whole
that
ass
they should be pretty accustomed to being in 0G. And yeah, not bracing does seem kind of dumb.
And he, like, I mean, at one point he, like, grabbed the shower head and pulled himself further up instead of pushing himself down. It's like,
what?
And again, that's
starting to think that Archer got this assignment kind of like how Chris Tucker gets his assignment in Rush Hour, where they're just like, let's just get him out of here.
Well,
I mean, he got this assignment because his daddy's famous.
Yeah, he's a Nepo baby.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but
Column A, column B.
when in Rome. I don't know.
It also bothered me ever so slightly that the water coming out of the shower head didn't seem at all affected by the gravity.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So I assumed the water that was coming out was still affected by force in a direction.
Well, yeah, there's pressure, but I don't know. I still feel like it would kind of
spray around.
Yeah, it wouldn't all be going down.
Okay, we'll get a cameo from that astronaut everyone likes to explain that.
There you go.
Oh, the one that plays guitar on the space station?
Yeah, Michael Crichton or
Is he
whatever.
still up there?
No, God, no.
Isn't he like a senator now?
Oh man, I hope so.
I thought he was
Let's get
Canadian.
some sciencey senators.
Oh, maybe not. I may be mixed. I know there is an astronaut senator.
Well, that was
that
Buzz
lady.
Aldrin.
Wasn't there a woman?
No, Mark Kelly is the senator from Arizona.
Space.
Which one's Mark Kelly again?
He's an astronaut who's a senator from Arizona.
Okay.
His wife is Gabby Giffords, the congresswoman that got shot in the head
Yes.
many years
God.
ago.
I guess
Yeah.
I knew about her. I didn't know he was also in politics.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is, but I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
I believe you.
I don't know if he's the astronaut you're thinking of, though.
Chris Hardwick?
Oh, yeah. Different guy, then. Yeah, Mark Kelly.
But Buzz Aldrin also was a senator at one point.
Oh really?
Was he a senator or congressman? I don't
Oh, I'm not positive. But he was in the
this
federal
conversation's
legislature.
riveting.
Well, he could be a
Today,
senator.
next time on C-SPAN, the podcast.
He could
Yes,
be
we
a
just
senator
list
and
people
a
in-
congressperson.
A couple other early touches. I think is it Hoshi? Somebody's eating some kind of food. No, it's T'Pol. T'Pol's eating some kind of food, and Phlox is like, you should eat human shit.
Mm.
And T'Pol says, no, that's not what I want to eat. And
T'Pol's like, I don't want diarrhea.
yeah, and Phlox won't let it go because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
I
he
really
sucks.
can't stand Phlox.
Well, I'm glad to. Yeah, I kind of keep going back and forth. I feel like we talk about MASH more than we should on this show, but like, has anybody else seen MASH?
No.
Jake, you either?
Not
Damn
outside
it.
of the odd episode.
All right, well, fine. This is for the listeners then, maybe.
Chris,
He
it's for
reminds
Chris.
me-
We know. We get it.
No, Chris doesn't know. I actually asked him and he didn't know the character. But he reminds me of Charles Winchester III, which is like Hawkeye's like second round of jerk roommates in the show. Just very like Boston Brahmin, very like
Well, you said it was like him and
well, a little mix of him and
Frasier.
Frasier, because it's got the sort of like
Forehead.
scientific interest thing, but also like and the really pretentious,
Yeah, the
annoying
pompous
shit.
doucheness of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
He's also got the early seasons Frasier hair.
Hmm.
And didn't you say it was the guy that was in Half a Life, the one you're talking about?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Well, he was in MASH.
Yeah.
That's
That's the
That's what we're
character.
talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. That
yeah,
guy.
the character he
yes.
played.
Yeah. Anyway, big Charles vibes for me.
Yeah, so while I'm being angry at Phlox for pushing food onto Pol, who already said no, Later on, T'Pol is telling Tucker, when you go over to their side, don't be too judgy about their food. And it's like, T'Pol, you just were being judgy about food a scene early. God, what fucking goddamn this show.
Okay, now, Caitlin brought up something similar, but here's the thing.
Tell us.
When it's your coworker being a pain in your ass, you can tell them to fuck off. He's going over as a diplomat. She doesn't want him causing an incident.
That's true.
Well, it's just one of many consent problems in this episode, so I think it's worth bringing up, Ames.
Thank you.
I hear what you're saying.
So,
frankly, the blueberry pancakes did look good.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck yeah. Who doesn't want a blueberry pancake?
The complaint is valid still, but there is a difference between, like, what T'Pol was going through with Phlox and why she's giving Trip the advice she is.
You know, I gotta say, I could see T'Pol not wanting, like, you know, a rasher of bacon or something like that, but I would think that she would love a blueberry pancake. They're vegetarian. And fucking delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's established here that there's like some kind of pressure differential or something between the ships, and therefore when you go between the ships, you have to spend 3 hours in this decompression room, which is like a cylindrical room that's about 3 feet in diameter.
Yep.
Oh, I would have an entire fucking freak out in there.
So Trip spends his 3 hours there on the way in, and he spends his 3 hours there on the way out. Later, he returns to the ship in the company of 2 Klingons.
Yep.
I want to know what happened in that 3-foot cylindrical room for the 3 hours that Trip and 2 Klingons were crammed
both times.
The most awkward silence in history.
Yeah.
I don't think those
that
Klingons
would have been a
gone
scene they could have shown.
That's the thing. Like, there felt like there were way too many inconsequential scenes in this episode. Because I think once we got to the interesting part, which I think is Trip's pregnant, we have to deal with this part, which happens fairly far into the episode.
Yeah, it was about halfway
We
in.
could have cut a whole ton of like the original stuff. I mean, yes, it is cool to see decompression as a thing in space that they have to deal with. That's interesting. I kind of want that Jell-O water. That looked cool. Seeing the Zerillians, I called it their Meow Wolf room. Have you guys seen Meow Wolf?
No.
Jake, tell everyone about Meow Wolf and how we have to go.
It's pretty cool. It's like a art exhibit like /
surreal experience.
Surrealist experience. They're in a few different cities. I think most of them are out west, but they're let's look it up. Meow Wolf.
Links below.
It's all, but like a lot of it's very, very colorful and shiny and stuff.
Yeah, imagine
one W or two.
2. Meow Wolf.
Yeah.
2 words.
2 words.
Yeah, imagine like a walk through haunted house kind of a thing, but it's not for scares. It's just for weird fucking shit.
Sounds awesome.
It does look pretty cool. I think there might be like a virtual one, perhaps, because I think in Walkabout Mini Golf, which I also highly recommend, it's a virtual reality mini golf game. I thought at some point they were going to partner with Meow Wolf and make a level, and it would be the fucking best. So I'm keeping my eye out for that.
Nice.
But anyway, that's what their
Holodeck?
first impression of their holodeck looked like to me, is just this, okay, we're in a weird fucking artsy-fartsy room that turns into the holodeck and all this thing, and we go on the boat and put our hands in some shit, and there's a the telepathic thing was just another element of thing. It's another episode where there's just too many things going on, they have no focus.
Man,
Why couldn't the hand juice bowl have just given like sexual gratification? Like,
Yeah,
it would have been fine.
Instead, it had to once again be fucking consented to mind reading.
Yeah.
This is a little
just
game we play. Oh, you think I'm hot?
Yeah, we're just gonna. This is how we get off. It's gonna be fun. You'll like it. Trust me.
Yeah, it feels like it's one of those cases where the censors wouldn't let them have a sex box, so their technically PG solution is actually
Sex
worse.
box.
But we've had so many sex boxes in Star Trek. We had an episode where the whole object of the episode, like the whole outcome, was to put a jerk off machine on a child. because everybody wanted the child to jerk off.
No, see, but the way they got away with that because they explained to the censors, no, it's a drug metaphor, not a wank machine. He's talking about the game, Ames. You look confused.
The game. Oh, the game with Wesley.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't consider Wesley a child in that episode. He's a teen at least.
Yeah, but he's still not legal.
Yeah, sex box.
Still, if you tried to watch him masturbating, you would be arrested. So,
Yeah.
Yikes.
well,
Fucking
I mean,
yikes.
Now, of course, if you want to watch Will Wheaton masturbate, you got to buy a cameo.
Is that what these guys are
Oh
doing
my.
on their cameos now?
wow, I had no idea. I better start saving my pennies.
Onlyfans.com.
Woof.
Gonna
But
go on
yeah.
OnlyFans and see if Robert Picardo has an account.
He does, but he just sings
That's fine.
while wearing that sweet smoking jacket thing.
Joke's on you, bitch. I'm into that shit.
I'd pay for that.
I actually did feel bad for Trip when he gets back and they're like, Trip, you're pregnant. What did you do with their women? And he's like, literally nothing. I ate their food. I
Yep.
worked on their ship. I went in their holodeck room. I didn't even physically touch any of them.
And
One of
where
them
was
did
the
touch my
victim
face.
blaming?
Don't
Where's
get
the victim blaming? Go ahead.
Don't get me wrong, Captain. I wanted to real bad, but I was pretty sure they probably just had a cloaca, and that wouldn't have worked.
Okay, I really
Wow.
like your Trip voice is pretty good.
Thank you. We'll see if I can still do it when I'm not ill next time.
Oh man.
The key with Trip is he never, ever says Captain.
Does he not?
It's Captain. Once I
Captain?
realized this the first time I watched it, I was always listening. There was a key moment where I believe he does say it once.
Hmm.
And I'm going to keep an eye out for it for when I think
Do
we
it.
get to it.
Yeah, so audience, listen along with us as you're watching through Enterprise for the one time Connor Trenier puts the T in Captain.
Try this exciting drinking game at home where you'll get to drink exactly once in the entire series when Trip says, Captain.
The worst drinking game ever.
And I might be misremembering, so you might never get to drink.
Yay.
Captain, this bowl of cereal here is all berries. Captain and Captain Arthur goes, oops.
Fucking hero.
They should have had an episode where space stuff knocks out the whole crew, but not Porthos, and it's just following him around the ship for 45 minutes. And it could have been
Aw.
Oops, all Porthos.
And it's,
Yay.
Oh.
well, it could be, God, what's the name of that? No. What's the name of that movie? Dog Day Afternoon. They could call it Dog Day Afternoon. It'd be like Data's Day.
There we go. And yeah,
Data's
like
Day
literally,
afternoon.
one scene is literally just him, like, he climbs on top of the unconscious Malcolm and sleeps on him for like 5 minutes. I would watch that.
Aw, good
Speaking
dog.
of Porthos, I wonder how injured he got when the gravity turned back on.
He didn't. He fucking learned the training. He followed the steps.
He followed a procedures. Oh, gravity's off. I best climb
Just
into
wait
a
here.
thing.
There
Oh.
were good treats to be had when he, landed properly during zero-G training.
He's a beagle
dog's no
too, so
fool.
those ears just went straight up.
Aw, cute
He's so
pooch.
cute.
Actually, no, Porthos was... Oh, no, because it was... It depends on where he was. If he was in his quarters, then he was affected. If he was in the ready room, he wasn't. Because the bridge was fine.
Oh, it was only a certain area of the ship. Yeah.
Well, where does Porthos spend most of his time?
I don't know.
Wherever he wants, because he's a good boy.
I feel like the way Jake asked that, it was almost like a setup. Like, I hope that Jake has a punchline.
No, I don't. I'm legitimately curious. Like, he's not on the bridge, obviously. We see him in the ready room sometimes. Does he just spend the rest of the time just in Archer's quarters being lonely?
Languishing
Not
and
getting
being
patted?
sad. Yeah.
I just thought of the greatest injustice this show pulls. We never see Porthos in a tiny uniform.
Oh, we'll make one for him.
We never see, there's never a scene where Porthos has to take command when all of the humanoid crew are knocked unconscious by something.
God. If Enterprise had gotten a TAS, there would have been an episode where Porthos turned human and the rest turned into dogs, and he'd have to, like,
Wow.
run the ship.
Wow.
It's like the counterclock incident, but
Yes.
better?
Yeah, just not a lot going on in this episode, really.
There's a
Very
lot- the thing
straightforward
is,
and
that's-
nothing super interesting.
That's the thing. Like, there's too many things going on, but they're all bland. It's like, I
Yeah.
liked Alen. She was cool. I liked the when we finally got to having a plot, but then it was over very quickly. They never had a discussion of do we abort the thing like we did with Troy in The Child.
Well, Trip probably wouldn't believe in the right to choose.
Well, he did
He seems like a good old boy.
Yeah,
he did
he's
specifically
Southern.
say he wanted to remove it without harming it, so that kind of ended the discussion there.
Yeah, and then straight out into space, like we do.
In the Finny tube.
Jake also made a comment. So I think when Trip was, in I might be a mommy mode and was checking out engineering for hazards to children, and he puts his hand on what were obviously handrails on the turbo lift or the little elevator.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you put your hands here, they'll get crushed. Why would? And the other engineer says, well, why would anyone put their hand there? And Jake
because
and I,
they're fucking handrails.
and Jake and I both look like, because that's exactly where anyone would put their fucking hands on this thing.
Where else?
How many people have to lose their fingers?
All of them.
Like how many trips to Phlox do you need to get fingers reattached before somebody fixes that?
And that's why when you get to the Enterprise in the movies, they've got that plastic cylinder so you don't put your hands outside and get your fingers chopped off.
Yeah.
They call that cylinder the Trip tube.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Trip. Pregnancy or no pregnancy, he's got a point that is a serious safety hazard right there.
He should have noticed sooner, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Several
the elevator
fingers
has an emergency stop mechanism where if it detects skin contact, it stops or something. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you can get that for table saws here in the 21st century, so I'm sure that is a thing.
But even then, that's just gonna just design the thing better.
Yeah.
Don't
put a fucking ladder there. It doesn't need to be a lift.
Yeah. But yeah, I did find all the freaking corny maternal instinct bullshit to be
bullshit.
Eye roll worthy.
Yeah, it was just bad sitcom jokes.
Yeah. Oh, he's acting like a woman.
Oh, apparently there was a cut scene in which Trip was having dinner with T'Pol and Reed, and when he left, he had to go vomit.
Nice.
Like you do. But yeah. Oh, did you guys notice that the Klingon ship we see is a Katinga class?
Nope.
It's one of the old ones that you see in TOS.
Okay, I was kind of wondering if...
Yeah, so even though it's 100 years earlier, I guess Andrei Bormanis, the science consultant, I think, he was like, yeah, it's like the Russians. If the design works, why would they ever change it, kind of thing.
I feel like humanity is the only major spacefaring race that is just constantly redesigning their ships. It's something wrong with us.
Well, we do that now. Every year there's a new Mustang or some shit.
Well, that's
most cars get releases every year. There's a new iPhone every year.
Well, but I'm thinking just the fact that the interior tech gets better, but the silhouettes change sort of gradually over time, usually, not always, but usually. Whereas Starfleet's 13 different kinds of ship at once, and now we're going to come up with a weird new one, and now they all look like this, and everyone else is like, look, we found a good model, and we kind of stick with it.
Yeah. I assume, Starfleet is always trying to optimize for different things. Just because, the variety of missions that Starfleet ships end up doing. A Klingon ship, they really have one mission.
Yeah.
Go kill shit, conquer, whatever you're going to do. But, with Starfleet ships, it's okay, well, we need ships that are good in battle, but we also want to have science ships, and we need ships that go fast to do emergencies, and
see, in reality,
we also need carriers for colonization and yada yada yada.
Yeah, but I still feel like in reality what they would do is they would have the military ships, the science ships that would be hyper modular, as opposed to all right, so we've got the Enterprise, which is ostensibly a research vessel, but it's also kind of long range and also kind of military if it needs to be. Then you've got the Oberth, which is doomed. I mean, a strict science vessel.
Oh, it's so cute. The Mirandas. The Mirandas are the ones that you can kind of mix and match pieces on, right?
Yeah, they don't do that much, but that is ostensibly the idea of them.
And I think that's like a retcon anyway. It's just because we've seen Mirandas that look slightly different, so we're like, oh yeah, it's because they have a modular thing.
Yeah, it's not because we lost that part of the model.
Although then it was the idea kind of from the off with the Nebula class. That's why they have the different top bits,
like a
depending
picnic
upon
table
their
bench.
mission. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does seem like a better system would be to just make everything modular, like
Yeah.
have a standard drive section and then swap out different saucer sections. Like you have, like, take the Galaxy class drive section, really powerful, fast, and it's got an attachment capacity to hook up to the saucer section.
Yeah,
so
you
just
can
make
always-
a shitload of
You can
make a
already
shitload of
detach that thing.
drives, make a shitload of those drives, and then put on different saucers depending on what you need.
Yeah.
I feel like they also retconned, the bridge modules are removable and swappable. And that was retconned to explain why the Enterprise bridge looks completely different every time we see it in the movies.
Do we have anything else about Unexpected?
Yeah, I do have the note that Star Trek Magazine calls this one the worst episode of the season. I don't know. If this is the worst episode of the season, the rest of the season will be good, because I didn't think it was that bad. I just think it was really unfocused.
It wasn't focused. I think it was as good or better than last week's episodes, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week was weak. Speaking of colonist ships...
Yeah, moving on to the Terra Nova. Or just Terra Nova. Over 70 years ago, there was a human deep space colony founded, was called Terra Nova, and we haven't heard from them in 70 years. And we have found the planet that we think that they landed on, so the intrepid crew of the Enterprise is going to go down and explore and see what they can see. When they arrive, they find some hostile and seemingly... What would you call them? Primitive, yes, that's exactly it. Thanks, Ames. Primitive people. Malcolm mistakenly thinks like maybe they have scales or something. The reason for that is they seem to have like mud or paint or something on their faces. They are like virulently anti-human. The humans, true. They they mentioned that the humans brought the poison rain, I think they keep saying, that drove them from being an above ground people to an underground people. They injure and capture Malcolm, and I feel like we spend most of the episode just trying to get Malcolm back.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, you could say that like there were two sides. There was Starfleet side, there was the Novan side, and then Malcolm in the middle.
Fucking hell.
Well done. Big surprise. These weird, primitive, bipedal, mud-faced creatures are the progeny of the colonists who were lost from Terra Nova.
Gasp.
I know,
but
shocking.
Not that much gasp.
Nope, pretty obvious. Also, like, we discover that one of them, Nadette or Nade, Bernadette, right? Nadette or something.
Nadette, yeah.
She apparently has lung cancer, and so Phlox is treating her and doing his thing. Yeah. And then, like, discovers a picture and is like, look, you're this little girl. And she's like, Bernadette, my name was Bernadette. This is all bullshit. It was like there was a plug pulled and suddenly she remembered everything. It's pretty wild. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. The end.
And they had to relocate them because the water was radioactive.
Oh,
yeah,
right, yeah.
Poisoned.
Yeah, they had to pull a Sergei Rozhenko.
Except they knew.
Yes.
And that happened because someone had irradiated their...
Yeah, and
an asteroid.
Yeah, had broken up and poisoned the atmosphere.
That's what called the poisoned water.
And yeah, their leaders at the time had thought it was humanity launching an attack because they didn't want to let more colonists in, and that's why they're anti-human.
I want to learn more about that. Like, here's the thing. Launching directly in. Here's my first bitching moment.
Do it.
This fucking expedition was like Mayweather's obsession, apparently, and he was so into, oh my god, I'm going to be one of the ones that gets to see what happened to the Terra Nova colony and all this thing, and he's so excited. And then you barely see him for the rest of the fucking episode.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is the story of that character.
Of Mayweather.
And then Archer fucking Tom Sawyers him at the end, being
Why
like,
don't you write up the report?
Yeah,
you weren't even involved.
I'm going to tell you to write my report for me, but make it sound like a reward.
Wow. The
And
poor
Mayweather
thing.
falls for it.
Gee, Captain, thanks. Woohoo! Like I there were that scene at the end when they're eating at the table. I couldn't help but feel like it was like, ooh, Mayweather gets to sit at the adults table and eat dinner with the captain. Wowee. I feel so bad for the actor.
Yeah.
Because it's just
It's like they tease him with this episode, like, oh man, this is going to be something that your character is specifically interested in, and then you do nothing.
He must have been so excited when he first read that script. He must have been like, wow, I'm really in this one. It's going to be great. And then
every week he gets screwed. He got screwed in the unexpected too, because he just got to ferry trip back and forth. Why couldn't that have been a fucking Mayweather episode?
Why couldn't both of them have gone? Like, they brought one engineer to fix their whole fucking ship? Come on.
Yeah, and
Bring
we
a
know
buddy.
at least 3 people fit in the cylinder, so... yeah. Anyway, but this episode, hey guys.
Hey.
I'm doing an off-world colony. It's going to be very dangerous. It's going to be heading out into the unknown. What should we call it? Should we, like, name it something cool? Or should, like, maybe we could name it after a famously doomed expedition where everybody died.
Yeah, that one. That's the one.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
Yep, that's the Scott expedition for you. Frozen to death in Antarctica.
And I'm surprised it was the Conestoga and not the SS Titanic that brought them there. For all the luck these people have.
Oh.
I will say they kind of did a little bit with the Novans, what they did with I forget the name of the people in Nemesis, the episode with Chakotay, in which they had kind of their own words for things, which makes sense because it sounds like only like their younger generation survived this asteroid incident.
Well, yeah, because apparently if you're under 4 years old, you can gain an immunity to deadly levels of radiation.
So it's also a little bit Miri?
Yes,
Christ.
I thought that too. It's like Miri, except they don't drop dead once they hit adulthood.
Thank
so the
God.
first couple decades on that planet must have sucked.
They should not have survived.
We don't know if all the adults died right away. They might have just gotten
very
sick or had
yeah.
cancers and things and then gradually died off.
But that was
I
literally...
can't imagine a 4-year-old girl survived on her. I mean, there's probably other older kids that have just already died too.
Yeah, but they literally did say, oh, yeah, you're under a certain age, you can usually gain an immunity to these sorts of things.
But they didn't say what the age was, so they just said that Bernadette wasn't 5 or 4 at the time.
Yeah, but still, like, I'm pretty sure there is no age under which, oh yeah, you can develop an immunity to lethal levels of irradiation.
Yeah.
Fair. That is
not a
strange.
thing.
Okay. To defend, perhaps, I don't know why, maybe they fled underground before, like maybe the idea was that, oh shit, the sky is raining fire and horror on us. Get the children to the caves.
Yeah.
You know, and then, so they weren't, as long as they were in the caves, they weren't exposed to a lethal dose.
Yeah,
right, and then
fine.
you build up your tolerance while you're in the caves.
That's fine as an explanation, but the one they gave was young enough people can just survive that shit.
Yeah,
okay, that's a good point.
Stupid.
That is kind of dumb.
I feel like that's Phlox having a Zoidberg moment and not knowing how humans actually work.
Maybe.
Open your mouth. The other one.
We're going to find out, I think, because there's an episode coming up soon, that we're going to find out just how that Phlox just like showed up on Earth, knocked on Starfleet's door and was like, can I get a job? And they're like, who are you? What are you? He's like, oh, I'm a Denobulan. I want a job. And they're like, okay, what can you do? He's like, well, I can
I have all these leeches, you see.
Yeah. I love being I'm a great doctor. Everyone loves me. I know lots of sciences, all the science. I'm the best.
Alternately, he was about to say I'm a doctor of literature, but they cut him off after he said doctor and said, oh, thank God, we need one, and yanked him in, and he's just been running with it ever since.
Yeah, because, man, that guy, he does not know shit about science or medicine.
But he likes pancakes. So that's a point in his favor.
And leeches or something, doesn't
Well, that's a point against.
But anywho, yeah, I don't know. I think... Oh, I also have to give a shout out, sorry, before I get into that. I have to give a shout out to whatever production designer or whoever was like, when we enter the ghost town, what we really need is for a tumbleweed to blow past them.
God. I was so
just
angry.
to really drive it home.
I was so fucking angry.
I somehow missed the tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a very fucking, like, just as soon as they walk into the ruins of the colony, there's it's not even like a little, it's like the size of a fucking,
like a tire. It's like tire size.
It's a huge fucking tumbleweed just blows through the frame behind them. It's just what?
It's like when the tumbleweed store went out of business in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
See, I was so busy focusing on the bicycle.
Yeah, it's in that same shot.
I was looking
with the bicycle.
At the bike, going, you want to, waiting for someone to go up to it and hit it, and Reed did it. He was the one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the tumbleweed. I just got to shout out tumbleweed because it was great. But no, what I was going to say is this episode to me, it had a real TOS quality to it.
Yeah.
Okay. It felt like a combination of a lot of other episodes we've seen, so.
Oh, yeah. But just the idea of like going to a colony, like this is one of the first times that it in a long time that if you have that sense of like, oh, we're going to go check up on an Earth colony that, 100 years after we lost contact
like this
with
side
it.
of paradise or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. And like that was just such a common theme in TOS episodes, Nazi planet, gangster planet, all these planets.
Planet.
Native American planet, although that wasn't really a colony, but yeah. But yeah, just like going and checking on humans that are out there and seeing what they're up to.
No, that's true.
I think another kind of TOS quality was the very, like, it's not even heavy-handed. There's a word, the trite way that they decided to wrap things up with oh, we don't really trust you, all this thing. But then Archer's going to save this guy that fell down a well. And that's going to prove to us that he's trustworthy. And it just felt like such a cliche ending of, oh, how do we wrap this up? We need the people to finally trust him after all the rest of this episode. I know, he'll save one of them from an obvious thing.
Would it have been better if rather than Archer hearing the guy shout, they'd brought Porthos, who was like, yip, yip, and Archer's all, what is it, boy? And they run.
Yes!
And it's like, Cave Timmy's falling down the well.
Yes, it would be better.
Yeah, there's no plot that Porthos wouldn't make better.
That's true.
And this one was piss poor, so it was really only, only able to go up from there.
Meanwhile, in what's the name of the episode in TNG where Data poisons the water hole?
Is it a fistful of Datas?
Thine own self.
No, not that one. The one where there's a girl who likes robots and really wants to fuck him.
Thine own self.
No, an earlier episode.
Is it the
the other one with he doesn't poison the water, he destroys the water.
Oh, he destroys. Okay, fine.
That's Ensigns of Command.
Ensigns of Command, thank you. And there was a little bit of that in this one because it's like, colonists, we have to make you move and you won't listen to reason. And Data knew how to make a move. While they were fucking Archer's just like, but okay, I'll just come and collect Reed from you and leave. And who knew what was going to happen?
I did appreciate though that he was like, we're going to just bring him home. It'll be fine. It works right in Tarzan. And T'Pol is like, John, no. Jesus Christ.
I did love T'Pol's immediate answer is, we go down there, we stun them all, we bring them on the ship, and we take them away. It's like, T'Pol, Jesus Christ.
Well, one of two things. Either that's just pure Spock, let's be honest. Or
it's logical.
She was purposely trying to get a rise out of him because she felt his plan was just as stupid.
There are a lot of stupid plans this week. You go down there, you poison their water hole, you leave.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a digger in my boot.
Oh, they were cute. They were what, like little armadillo-looking things?
Probably, yeah. I think we only really saw their ass and their hide.
I feel like we saw a tail. That's all I remember seeing, clearly.
Porthos could have befriended a digger.
Cute.
That would have been a much better episode. They have adventures. Like Milo and Otis or whatever.
No,
Do you
not like
think-
Milo and Otis.
I've never actually seen it. Does it end badly?
No, it's not that it ends badly. It's that the people who made it were literally throwing cats down waterfalls in boxes.
Oh my god.
Because there were no like animal cruelty rules in Japan or wherever the fuck it was made.
Yeah, they just followed around animals for a whole winter season to see what they would do, and then strung together a plot out of it.
That's kind of like when Disney threw all those lemmings off a cliff. Was it
I don't know
Disney?
if they threw them off.
No
they
idea what you're
coaxed
talking
them-
about,
they
but this really
coaxed them-
happened, so.
Yeah, either way. Yeah, that's not actually a thing lemmings do. They made that happen.
Yeah.
What?
Lemmings,
they say-
the whole idea is that lemmings will follow each other off a cliff.
Off a cliff. Yeah, I've heard that.
But that comes from, well, I don't know if it was like a urban legend before it, but or not, but like it actually comes from a Disney nature documentary where they lured some lemmings into jumping off a cliff.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Much like we should have done with these people.
I gotta
Good
say,
segue,
man,
good
I wonder
segue.
if the actor that played Nadette's son,
Eric
I
Avari.
wonder if that guy ever gets tired of just playing a fucking downer in things.
Oh, he's
It's like,
great.
he was also, you'll remember, he was the guy in I can't remember the name of the episode, but
Destiny.
the 3 serpents. Destiny with the 3 serpents.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
was
God, he
Vedic
was!
Yarka.
I forgot all about that.
He was also a Klingon. I think that Klingon that gave somebody a ride in Unification.
No shit, I forgot about it. See, I was just too busy going, hey, it's that guy from The Mummy.
Yeah,
Yep. He's also in Stargate.
he is.
He is, which
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
gets
know until I
around.
was looking up his credits today. He's in everything. He's one of that guys.
How much
Yeah,
of a
'cause I
downer
knew
is he in Stargate?
He's not bad. He plays the father of the Daniel Jackson's wife from not Chulak. Can't remember the name of the other planet, but yeah.
And of course, he's Dadmiral's sidekick in The Mummy.
Yum. Admiral Vance.
Yeah.
As an attractive man.
Yes, indeed.
This episode was directed by LeVar Burton.
Yes, I noticed that.
Well, nice try, LeVar. They can't all
Yeah.
be winners.
Well, as we often
The
say,
directing was fine.
we
Yeah.
often say when we have like a director we like on an episode that's they didn't write the script.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything in the directing that I would say like, oh, what were they doing shooting like this? But yeah, it was another kind of bland script.
Yeah.
I'm very upset about Mayweather still.
Yeah, I mean, get used to that. He gets one episode, and I don't even remember if it's good.
Oh no.
One thing that
I
annoyed me.
remember that episode kind of being like the Esri Dax episode.
No.
Oh my god, I think you're kind of right, I think.
Which Esri Dax?
Where she
The
goes
one
home.
Where she goes home and her family's a bunch of
Oh,
shitheads.
Prodigal Daughter.
Oh, no.
Which
Yeah.
Jake and I literally just finished
We were just
rewatching.
that was just on TV, so that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm like, huh, yeah, the that episode. I mean, it's not. Yeah, whatever. We'll see. It's been a while. It might be good.
Yeah, okay, I think everyone's doing better than Bev, whose big episode is
Fucked
fucking
by
a
a
ghost.
ghost.
She's great in
Remember
Remember
Me.
Me.
I was about to say that's her actual episode, but the one everyone remembers is Let's Fuck a
Sub-Rosa.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Sub Rosa, thank you.
This episode
Oh.
wasted a whole lot of time in that spelunking scene because
So
it
much.
felt like it took 4 goddamn ever to get Archer and Jamin down the rocks to
Yeah.
save Akari from the water rising.
They had so much trouble getting down there. How did they get Johnny Broken Leg out of it?
Rope and
Magic.
pulley system.
What happened
You win
was
this round.
Nadette didn't actually go down. She was still at the top. She just threw a rope down and pulled all 3 of them up, but with one
Like
with
a
one
bad
arm.
bitch.
Or
That's how
or-
fucking badass Nadette is.
Yeah, she seems like she probably was like a cool warrior of the wasteland when she
No,
was.
not just
you know,
that. I mean, she fucking survived an apocalypse
Yeah, that's what I
as a
mean.
child.
I
Yeah.
regrew a lung.
No, that's later.
Even
or they
Neelix
just-
can't do that shit.
Yeah, especially Neelix
You know what
can't
it was?
do that shit.
Once they got him out from under the log, they just had him wait until the water. Once the water rose, he was able to kind of keep himself afloat, and then they all just crawled out together.
There you go.
So one thing that annoyed me:
Go on.
we have normal fucking flashlights now instead of the stupid box ones from TNG.
Okay.
But to know that it's the future, there's 3 pointless blue light bulbs attached to the outside.
Oh,
I
weird.
assume those are like buttons for different settings or
Like,
something.
Maybe that's what it's
UV
supposed
light.
to be, but they were just like,
Yeah.
it's the future!
I still think the fucking phasers on this show look fucking goofy as shit.
Honestly, I was thinking about that because I realized it's all the props. They all look like shitty plastic toys. The communicators, the fucking T'Pol's scanner.
They should have gone in a more like steampunk aesthetic, for lack of a better term, like more like metal and like exposed circuitry and like like the original communicators from The Cage. You know how they were kind of like a translucent material and you could see like the circuitry and stuff inside?
Yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, exactly. Like just work backwards from Spock's tricorder instead of this, again, toyetic looking bullshit. And that's what it is. It feels like it's so they could sell toys.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like that was one
Are
thing.
they better than the Dustbuster phasers from TNG? TBD.
I mean,
those are also pretty stupid.
The design is bad, but they don't look as cheap. They look solidly built. These look like if you dropped them, they would shatter.
That looks like they're water pistols. If you drop them, they just spill water everywhere.
Yeah. Like, a good example, I think, of what they could have done was something more like the Paul Feige Ghostbusters. The proton packs in that, I actually, in some ways, kind of prefer to the originals because they kind of look like something somebody hacked together in their garage. Like, don't get me wrong, the original design, classic, iconic, but it is so expertly made and machined, and it's like, Egon, what do you have access to? This is before 3D printers.
I mean, they did all work at a university. So
He built them after they got shit canned.
That's true. But they could have snuck it at night.
I could actually totally see
use the machine
convincing
shop.
them to do that. They didn't even sneak in. Venkman just conned some grad students into it.
Right.
They hadn't heard he'd been fired.
But anyway.
But
I mean, never mind the fact that they also built the fucking ghost storage system.
True.
Which is apparently nuclear powered, or I don't know.
Well, so are the packs, but
that's right, yeah.
Aesthetically, something like that. The Feige Ghostbuster Proton Pack, I want that tricorder and phaser, not the chunky 2000s toys we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it Archer? I think Archer had the great line in this. "We're not going to hurt you," he says immediately before shooting them.
I said the exact same thing.
Wowzers. Wowzers.
What he didn't get to finish what he was saying. He was going to say, we're not going to hurt you much.
I'm not going to hurt you, Wendy. I'm just going to bash your fucking head in.
What?
He's
The
quoting
Shining.
The Shining.
Sure. Oh, there was a couple things I liked about this. One was that they ask T'Pol, does she know about the Terra Nova expedition? And she's like, no. And Trip is like, well, that's a first, because usually you know everything. We're also taught all the Vulcan expeditions. And she says, name one. And Trip can't, and I laugh.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was a good
here's
touch.
the thing. I guarantee she knew about this expedition. And like the reason why she had to deny knowledge of it is because the Vulcans were just watching this whole fucking time.
They threw that asteroid in the first place.
Let's let the humans figure out how much they don't know about space.
I wouldn't put that past
it's like
them.
a fucking punchline on Vulcan. Like they just use it like, you pulled a Terra Nova there, huh?
They had to make sure they stopped saying that once the Federation formed.
Right.
Well, no, they just say it in Vulcan.
Yeah, but I presume they don't have Vulcan. So it'd be like, blah, 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 Terra Nova, blah, blah. They go, sorry, what? Nothing. Live long and bite me.
Oh, there was another little good touch that I liked, because when they say, oh, such and such in several hours, and Jamin's like, hours? And they're like, right, you wouldn't understand our units of measurement. When the sun's right about there on your sky, yeah, that. And I'm like, finally, someone who doesn't understand what a fucking hour is. They obviously use the metric system.
Yeah, I know you already brought it up,
Metric
but I did really appreciate the sort of pigeon language, or whatever it was that they were using.
That's Shale. That's Shale they're speaking.
Yeah.
They were all kind of digging themed, too.
Yeah, they're all like things that you would say if you were mole people.
Yeah, I wrote one down when it was, I forget what I think it was when Archer's showing them the pictures of the original expedition on the screen, and he says, bury your drawings. I'm like, that makes sense for people who live underground.
And it was less, I don't know, jarring than it often is when they try to make up fake
colloquialisms.
You don't feel like it fracked up the flow?
Yeah, like it wasn't as... Because I feel like that was one thing that while I liked Nemesis, I found the language a little...
Too much,
this one,
yeah.
It didn't hit as hard. Maybe they were just delivering it better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, probably
It
not.
also makes sense, too, because it's like, as you said earlier, you know, these are mostly young people. You know, the survivors are mostly young people, so they might not have had a great command of the language.
Bonk, bonk on the head.
They're lucky as much of the language survived as it did, because God knows
Yeah.
how many words the survivors knew.
Right. Apparently they knew shale.
Yeah. Look, they really like rocks.
Yes. There was one kid that survived who was like the fucking rock kid.
But that makes sense.
And
Because I think every kid has like a rock phase. It usually goes hand in hand with the dinosaur phase.
That's true.
So it kind of, you know.
I never really had a rock phase, but every time I went to a museum as a kid, I wanted to get those stupid colored rocks, you know?
From the...
You get like a bag of them for $5, and they were just fucking bullshit that had been dyed, I'm pretty sure. It was probably just like howlite or something.
I'm an adult. I could finally buy a fucking geode.
Do it!
Yeah, absolutely.
And a bag of river rocks.
Yeah, you could buy a geode, but that would be a big waste of money, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I never...
No,
I mean,
they're cheap. Are you serious? Geodes aren't
I
that
thought
expensive.
geodes are expensive because they're so fancy.
I think
doubt
we
it.
just thought they were expensive because it was more money than we had as kids, but now as
Maybe.
adults, it's like, this is a bit of an indulgence, but I've spent more on dumber.
I've seen people on like TikTok going out and finding geodes. And
Too much effort.
Cracking them open.
Build one
Anyway.
yourself.
And we had, I
How
had one
much?
when I was a kid. You bought a rock, and then you just hammered the shit out of it, and you got
You
a
know
geode
how-
inside.
You know who, speaking of the language thing, you know who probably would have found this pigeon language interesting?
Hoshi?
Fucking Hoshi. If
True.
she was in the episode.
Damn it.
Yeah, she's sitting there running comms and shit.
This should have been
Never gets to do anything related to her
Mayweather
job.
and Hoshi episode. And nope, they decided to make it a Archer and kind of Reed sometimes.
And even he's mostly just there to be injured.
Yeah.
See, I think it would have been better if Hoshi'd gotten captured, because then we could have had better scenes of her trying to relate to the
She's already been in
prison
distress
guard.
so many
That's
times
true,
already,
yeah.
though. Like,
Yeah, having her need to get rescued again.
Have her rescue Reed.
there we go.
Yeah, that
Ever-
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they assumed, because they didn't know these people were humans at the very, very beginning, and they
True.
would think, like, bring her down because she knows languages. Come on.
Well, they also weren't expecting to find anyone when they first went down, so...
How much
Yeah, it
did
took
you
them a while
guys...
to... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it wouldn't have taken them so long to figure out that these were humans, maybe, if they'd had somebody helping them with the language, since it took them a hot minute. And clearly Star Trek does not exist in their world. No show like Star Trek, you know? What were you going to say, though, Ames?
Oh, I was going to move us on to the how badly we needed that skull flute playing scene.
There is no way that skull was making those sounds. Like, I know obviously all the music is dubbed in later anyway, but there is nothing you could do to that skull in the real world to make it make that noise.
You put a flute inside of it.
Yeah, he's right.
True.
You could also fill it with resin and then drill holes.
Yeah, it felt like another one of those scenes that was just here to pad out the episode. Because for a second it was all like, oh, is Reed watching this with kind of like a noble savage look in his eye? Or no,
I
that's not
think
even...
he was.
And then it just passes on to the next scene anyway, and we never discuss. Like, we never get Reed's take on this.
It was awakening his British blood. He was having visions of his ancestors in pith helmets taking over the world.
I must colonize.
He just screams pip pip at the top of his lungs and goes berserk. Like some
Right.
sort of British Popeye.
Right, very last thing on my list is that I cringed openly when they brought back Amelia Earhart up for no reason. Because we know what happened to Amelia Earhart.
She was eaten by coconut crabs.
No, she's on that planet because she was abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who wasn't abducted by aliens, but was gonna move in with them for a bit?
Leonard McCoy? Is that your
Yeah.
segue?
Yeah!
I hate it.
World is hollow and I have touched the sky. He was gonna move in with the aliens.
Oh yeah,
All right.
that's kind of true.
So we've managed to seamlessly segue, as we somehow did in the weirdest way, to our blogtivity for this week. So we were saying how these episodes kind of reminded us of a little bit TOS episodes. Let's actually talk about some TOS stuff.
Woo!
So this week, our character spotlight is on Dr. Bones McCoy. Love him. I have way too many best moments of Dr. McCoy because I couldn't think of enough not good ones.
I can only think of one bad one.
A lot of my bad ones are just kind of joking, so we'll see how many of them remain.
All right. I'm going to start.
Do it.
Best ones.
Best McCoy.
Saying, you know, screw causality. I'm going to give this woman a kidney pill.
Oh my god.
2, cracking a joke at his own kangaroo trial.
What episode is that?
Star Trek 6.
Oh, that one. Yes, in Undiscovered Country.
It's like, wow, you are being railroaded and you're still making a joke. And you made a Klingon laugh. Only one, but that's a fucking achievement. And best moment, telling Khan how to kill him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That one's high on my list, too.
Being like, all right, pal, either I can save your life or this is how you kill me. Make up your mind. Don't be a bitch.
A little bitch. I also love that scene.
So good. What else you got?
I still have too many. Someone else go next. My list is very long.
Jake, go for it.
All right. I was having trouble thinking of moments, but so here's what I got. I'm gonna add to the healing the kidney.
Really? That's
lady.
funny because that one's on my bad list.
Really? I think that's a great thing.
Nope. He breaks the Prime Directive. You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is when Starfleet doctors are like, fuck your rules, Hippocratic oath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. What takes precedence, the Hippocratic Oath or the Prime Directive?
That she is not his patient. She has doctors already.
Those doctors suck.
And the Prime Directive comes first.
Stone knives and bearskins, okay? Stone knives and bearskins.
The only thing that supersedes Prime Directive is the Omega Directive.
That's true.
And General Order 24.
Sometimes.
That's a treat.
Anyway.
That's a treat.
Yeah, so this one is just kind of I don't know. This is more of a DeForest Kelley appreciation.
I'll take it.
Than a Bones appreciation, but pretty much anything he does in Star Trek 3 when he has Spock's Katra.
Yeah.
From trying to neck pinch
Yes.
Commander Starfleet, which was great.
Yep.
And yeah, just any of the weird shit he did. And even in the scene like when he's hanging out in Spock's quarters and he is like talking like Spock. It's great. Yeah, and then this one, again, I guess all mine are from the movies.
Yeah, you guys really hyper focus on the movies.
Yeah,
I just remember them better.
Memorable, I think. So this one's from the movies. And again, it's kind of a DeForest Kelley moment, but also the Bones moment when he is talking about how he euthanized his father.
And there was like a cure a week later.
And there was a cure a week later.
Yeah, he delivered that well.
There was just a really good performance.
Yeah, this show did not deserve DeForest Kelley sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell how much William Shatner respects DeForest Kelley because of the great performance he got out of him in Final Frontier.
No, you would have gotten that performance out of DeForest Kelley if you wrote him trash. He would still somehow sell it.
But yeah, I always really liked that moment in the movie.
Yeah.
A standout moment in an otherwise mediocre film.
It's a movie.
Can I throw an honorable mention in, or should I wait?
Let's wait to see, just in case it ends up being a real.
I'll wait just in case, because I have another honorable mention. But
all right, are both Caitlin and I going to say the whole fucking prison scene from Bread and Circuses?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yay!
Yeah,
I love that scene too much.
Disco Doc at just him existing at the beginning of TMP.
Yay!
I don't know, man. Everything he does is good. Every single episode sign off where it's just him like smart mouthing off at at Spock, because he gets those look into the camera and say, well, gosh, I certainly didn't blank 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 whatever it is that's funny.
Yeah, he's got comic timing despite most of the comedy not always actually being any good, but he makes it good.
Yeah, he could sell fish to a fishmonger. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
He's really funny. He's got
What?
great timing and he's phenomenal.
Is that a
I
saying?
don't, no,
It is
no,
now.
no, it's still not. I don't know. But yeah, pretty much anytime he's on screen is probably my favorite. There are very few instances, where I'm not happy to see him. So
Okay, here's a couple more good times. Here's a really good one that I think Caitlin will agree with. He saves the fuck out of Sarek's life in Journey to Babel.
oh yeah,
I had considered that one.
Yeah, I think that's a really good moment that, because he doesn't know Vulcan physiology, because Vulcans don't tell him fucking shit. And he, in the middle of a goddamn battle with Andorian, or no, not even Andorians. Who are the fucks? The Orions, right? They turned out to be Orions? Secret Orions. And he fucking pulled it off. Similarly, this one's also just for fun and pretty good. Reconnecting Spock's brain!
I was just thinking about that.
I'm not going to lie. I had considered, from earlier, somehow managing to keep his corpse alive. That's actually pretty impressive.
That's even more impressive.
And installing the remote control system, which is pretty slick.
RC Spock, we loved it.
And fuck.
I've lost count if I've given too many already, but here's another one because I love it so much. His whole grappling with death stuff in For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. Because it's like really good acting work. And I love him so much in that episode. And it's great.
That is a phenomenal episode just in general.
Oh yeah.
As you say.
What were your honorable mentions, Jake?
Really, the honorable mention I wanted, mostly just because I wanted to make sure it got said, and it did get said. So thank you, Caitlin, for bringing up Disco Doc.
Hey,
Disco Doc was also going to be an honorable mention for me. I
have a handful of honorable mentions because there's too many great moments for Leonard McCoy.
Go for it.
In This Side of Paradise, he slugs a guy without even dropping his drink.
That's right.
And it's such a McCoy thing, and it's perfect for him.
Remember how happy he looked when he had those ladies on his arms and shore leave? The look on Doc's face. That's A+ shit.
Oh yeah, those things with the triple tits.
Yeah.
Triple tits. Yep.
He decides in the Coromite maneuver, even though we're in the countdown to death that Sulu is keeping track of for us, his final act is to write Bailey up for bad behavior.
I thought you were going to say to make a mint julep.
No.
I forgot about the countdown. That fucking Sulu.
Don't worry, Sulu week's coming up pretty soon, so keep that one in your back pocket.
I don't know if that's great or awful.
It's both.
It's amazing.
I also loved when he saves Mirror Spock in Mirror Mirror, because that's just very sweet. Again, he's a man who needs a patient.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my bonus item, and this comes actually from DeForest Kelly's his biography, something I never realized. So I think we've mentioned before when watching the show that we always say, like, McCoy's got a pinky ring, and we're always like, damn, that's a well-dressed man. He's got his pinky ring, he's got this bling going on. And apparently Roddenberry had tried to tell him, no, you're not going to wear the pinky ring, because, no one else is wearing jewelry on the starship. But DeForest Kelly insisted because it's his mother's ring.
Oh,
and I find that very sweet.
That's nice. What was the ring? Did he say? Was it just like was it an old wedding ring of hers, or was it?
I don't remember. I just know that it was her ring. It might have been a wedding band. I don't remember.
Okay.
It was a cock ring.
His mom's cock ring?
No,
Zephram cock ring?
Weird.
Cock ring.
But we love you, DeForest Kelly. But here's some times where we didn't love you so much.
Man.
I could have done without the casual racism.
What
one moment,
casual
please.
racism?
God damn it.
Do you have one instance of it?
Shit. I don't know. Anytime he called Spock a pointy-eared hobgoblin or a green-blooded...
Hobgoblin.
Or a hobgoblin. Whenever he called him a hobgoblin. That can be the one.
I feel like that happened a bunch of times.
Well, yeah, but that's it, though. Like, he's very casually racist.
To his best friend.
Well, can I
to the man he loves.
I can help you, Chris, because I have a moment that's related that I was going to mention.
Please.
And maybe we could just share it and have it.
Aw, you guys can
share
share.
this moment.
It's
actually not one moment. It's just the type of asshole he was to Spock in fucking
Is it the
Galileo
Tholian Web?
7?
Tholian Web.
Yeah.
He was such a prick to Spock that episode.
Yeah.
That was my moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember that.
I rewatched that one recently because I was trying to find a good screen grab for the Spock episode that we did. It's up on their Tumblr now, so go check it out. I might use the same one for this episode. We'll see. Because, yeah, they're both just so mean to each other all episode. And the pointy-eared hobgoblin stuff comes out an awful lot in that episode. Terrible.
Yeah.
We love you,
Yeah.
McCoy. And I think sometimes, maybe not all the time, but sometimes it's because he doesn't know how to say I love you, Spock.
It is a very 60s man not knowing how to deal with his emotions thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't aged well.
Agreed. Yeah, I think
You know what
that's the one big criticism of the McCoy character that I do see a lot is they would not get away with this today and have him be such a
No.
beloved character.
No.
Definitely not.
Also, I guess if I had to, relate it to Shore Leave Planet, Doc, you're kind of robbing the cradle.
With Spock?
Oh, who was that? Yeoman Barrows?
The yeoman he's semi-dating in that one. And I feel like World is Hollow Lady's a lot younger than him. It's like,
She
again,
was not.
He wasn't? Oh, okay. But Yeoman Barrows at the very least. Like,
Yeah, that was a weird
But
thing.
again, I get it. It was the 60s. It was okay then. It's technically, if they're both consenting adults, still okay now, but we look at it a little more askance nowadays. We're like, But I'm stretching here because I love Doc, so this is the best I can do. Who else?
Do you want to give us any more, Jake?
Yeah, so I already gave the one, and someone might be able to correct me because it has been a while, but I feel like he had some fairly I'm really stretching here, folks. He had some fairly irrational behavior with Nancy Crater in the Man Trap.
Oh, when he wouldn't shoot her because he wouldn't accept that she was a monster, or what?
Yeah, when she was obviously a monster, and everyone knows she's a monster, but he won't do it because it looks like his girlfriend.
Yeah, that was just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not even something I can really fault him for because it's a weird situation.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation, but also just like,
Come on,
yeah.
Doc.
He stood in between, like when Kirk was going to shoot the monster, he stood in the way.
Well, that's swings and roundabouts because Kirk stops him from saving
Edith Keeler.
So,
Mhm.
That's true.
and speaking of that, wasn't very cool of Doc to get high on drugs on the company dime and then go back in time and fuck up the future. Fucking Doc. I mean, I'm kidding. It wasn't cool, but it also wasn't his fault.
That's just how good this guy is. We have a real hard time finding things to give him shit about.
But I would definitely agree with Chris on the casual racism, though it were a different time. Thought it was unfortunate when he said that the Tribbles were asexual.
Oh
Bisexual.
yeah, that's a
What they said,
stupid line
asexual.
flow.
Oh, right, bisexual. Sorry,
Bisexual.
Chris is right, bisexual. Reproducing on their own, like bisexuals do.
Is it
Life finds a way.
I mean, is it just a terminology in like a difference in terminology?
I think
Oh.
the writers just didn't look it up.
Yeah, I don't think they did their research. Again, not Bones' fault, but he's the one that said that silly nonsense, and he should have known better by the 24th century or whatever.
Clearly.
All right, here's a couple more. Not mutinying against Decker in the Doomsday Machine when Decker was clearly unfit to lead.
Mm.
I
'Cause-
mean, everybody except Kirk could be faulted there.
yeah, but McCoy specifically has the I'm the CMO, and if someone is
Yeah.
having a medical or psychological episode, he's supposed to put them on out of control, out of command.
Although, as we have seen on any time a physician does try that, they are roundly ignored.
Are they? When else do we see that?
I feel like, no, I guess they always threaten it but never follow through.
Maybe that's it. He didn't think they would take him seriously. Okay, here's an actual stupid McCoy thing, which is just kind of dumb. Leaving his communicator on planet in a piece of the action. Doc, no.
Oh, I forgot
Bad
about
Doc. Naughty Doc.
that. After all that, Jesus. They're all going to have smartphones in 10 years.
You have starships in 10 years. Those guys are great mimics.
That's true.
Oh, speaking of the Tholian web, here's another one. Because I just rewatched the Tholian web. When Uhura tells everyone, I saw the captain, or tells McCoy specifically, I saw the captain when he was phasing in and out of this dimension or wherever, McCoy does not believe her because everyone else is going insane.
And because she's a woman.
Yeah, and because, yeah, exactly. But when Scott says he sees the captain, he's like, well, there might be something here.
Yes, my crewmate who is famously drunk 3/4 of the day. I'm gonna believe him.
Exactly.
Also, that time that McCoy said diapers.
He doesn't say that until TNG, though.
Well, that's a bad Dr. McCoy. And actually, that whole thing, because it just makes me sad, because DeForest Kelley is probably 70, playing a 120-year-old man, and it just makes me upset to see the doc like that. Let me remember him the way I knew him. Proud, decked out in his Saturday Night Fever best.
Oh, but he's so sweet in that scene.
I know, I love him. He can do
Farpoint.
pretty much no wrong except for the racism and I don't know. Do you ever slap any women to stop them screaming? I bet
yes.
he did, right?
He slapped the woman in Friday's Child.
Yeah, he slapped the pregnant woman.
There you go. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's awful.
Well, I think that was it was basically a pecking order thing, wasn't it?
It was I need to show dominance so you'll take me seriously. I don't know.
Because they were like it was a weird culture. It was just an excuse to let Doc slap somebody.
That's a good point, because he was the one that had experience on that planet, on Capella 4.
Yeah.
And he briefed everybody to say, okay, here's all the bullshit you don't do on Capella 4 because they'll take it personally and kill you. And somehow they bring down someone they didn't brief, and he does something and it gets him killed.
Yeah, he winds up with the, fucking Krull thing in his back.
Something like that. It was dumb.
Krull thing.
I feel like that's not a great episode. I don't remember, though.
Friday's Child? No, it's garbage.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It's also one of those cases where, screw the Prime Directive, these nomads that until 3 weeks ago thought the sun was a god have rocks we want.
Well, also there was Klingon interference too. That
was there? Was that one of those as well? Yeah, that's right. There was.
Yeah.
The
Klingons were trying to get the rocks.
But it's not clear who had gotten there first. There was a good chance Starfleet got there first and went, fuck it!
Yeah, but I feel like that's another episode of a proxy war with the Klingons.
Yeah, I forgot about that aspect, but that's what it was. They, supported some guy in a coup.
Okay, here's one more from my dishonorable mention list. Diagnosing Scott with misogyny just so he could go down to the brothel with them in Wolf in the Fold.
I forgot that was the diagnosis.
Right? It's very silly. Oh no, a woman did something stupid in the workplace and it got Scott hurt. Therefore, we have to go make sure we still like women.
Oh my god, that is such a dumb episode. Stop leaving Scotty alone.
But that is the origin of the fisting joint meme, so...
Yikes.
Oh, God.
We'll always have fisting.
Thank God for that.
It keeps coming up 7 years later.
I've had a chat with Jake that he's not allowed anymore.
Fair enough.
Really?
So should I cut all that? Because I'm not gonna.
No, you're fine.
Anyway.
This one's kind of a joke. The myriad times in the motion picture he walks onto the bridge, does nothing, and leaves because the cutting of that episode was ridiculous. Or that movie.
Yeah.
That movie was ridiculous.
I forgot about that, but you brought it up at the time.
I feel like it happened
a lot.
several times.
Yeah.
I liked how supportive he was in the universal experience that Jake showed us.
That's true.
He really took control.
That's true. That should be
know?
one of my top moments is the time
you and DeForest were acting together?
Me and DeForest were in a scene together.
Jake, it's all right. You can be honest. We know you and him are buddies. You get to call him D.
That's true.
Aww. Yeah, he
Big
did go
D.
by D. It's cute. And my last one, and this one can't actually be on the worst list because I love it too much, but it's the one thing that I wanted to bring up. He leaves Natira because he's cured. And my heart still breaks constantly because their love was so beautiful.
It was.
Not as beautiful as our love for Enterprise.
That's You know what? I deserve that segue considering the one I gave you.
Yay!
This has been episode 319 of A Star to Steer Her By. Thank you very much for joining us. Next week, we will be looking at the Andorian Incident and
fun.
Breaking the Ice. And Ames, who is our crewman next week?
Next week is Scott Week.
Woo!
Woo!
Bust out
Yay.
your accents. So yes, you can find us on whatever podcasting app you would prefer. The one you're using right now is probably the best to stick with. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter, unless Elon Musk actually makes everyone start paying. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, he's got to see how many bots are following him and change his mind. And yeah, we're on Tumblr, where you can see not just our crew discussions, but all sorts of past articles.
The fanfics!
Most
Read the
Ames doing the
fanfics!
fanfics. We had some great ones recently. I mean, they're always great, but we had some recently, specifically.
That were great.
That were great. So, yeah. Thank you for joining us. Next week, if the Andorian Incident is what I think it is, there will at least be one highlight in it. So come here for that. This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This be always Jake.
He's dead, Jim.
He's dead, Jim.
He's dead, Jim.
Jim, he's dead.
That part you're cutting, Chris.